Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another edition of the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I'm Rob, and on every Monday, I'm always here with your boy House.
What up?
And Alex down there.
Hi.
Going on, boys? How's your weekend, House?
Busy, my dude, busy. A lot of baseball and softball. Columbus to Cincinnati and back. Flag football yesterday. Running with these kids, man.
Dad life. I love it. I love it. Alex?
Did some fall stuff with the girlfriend on Saturday, and then
pick some apples.
We got like pumpkins. It was like pumpkin patch. It was Lewis Center Farm, like little. They had goats and little kid stuff to do, and then I golfed, played 9 holes after that. So it was fun.
There you go. At least you got some swings in. That's all that matters.
Yeah, have to.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so Monday we got our so obviously we got the Monday night football game tonight. I have eyes on this one. I have 3 of my games are coming down to this game. 3 of my lineups here. So I'm projected to win all 3, but it's going to come close, man. I need Cooper Kupp to have an off day. I need Kittle not to put up 20 points. It's going to be close in a couple of these matchups, but I'm excited. This game's going to be a lot on the line for me, so I'm excited. I'm ready.
I'm in that bad spot where, like, if Kupp helps me on one team, he's hurting me because I'm playing against him on another team that I have. So yeah,
I had that. What's funny is I had that last night with Mike Evans.
Same.
I have Evans in one of my leagues where he got me to a point where now I should win, but he also brought another one of my, like in my other league, the guy I'm playing against, he had him. It got him right to a point where, okay, Kittle can maybe take me out if he puts up 25 points. So it was a tough one last night. I was rooting for him. I was rooting against him.
Same. I need Kupp to go off because in that same league we're projected to tie. And he has Jeff Wilson and I have Cooper Kupp, and I'm down 12.
Yeah, I need Kupp to put up like 10. So
yeah, I need more.
Not quite 10. I mean, he just can't, he can't do a Cooper Kupp game where he puts up 40 points.
Mario has Kupp and Kittle going against me. I have the lead right now. I'm not too confident that it's going to happen for me.
That's tight. I hate those. Well, let's get through this then, because we got primetime TV to watch. It looks like all of us kind of have some skin in the game tonight, which is good. So we have a ton of games. We're going to get through the Thursday night game, and then all the early Sunday games. We're going to get through at least the 8-10. We have some stuff. We're going to try to get through as many of these games as we can get through. And let's start it off with Dolphins-Bengals. House. The Dolphins, all right? So this was the Thursday night game. Obviously, everyone saw it. Tua, unfortunately, goes down hard.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going to be out quite a bit. I did not read anything yet on how long he is going to be out. I don't think they've announced it. Yeah, unfortunately, like, dude, this could be a season-ending injury. I would be shocked if he's not out at least until like week 10. I'd be shocked. That's like the earliest that I would see him coming back. Okay, so what does this do for the wide receivers? And does it like bump up Mostert in like the running back room, or what's your outlook on this offense now?
Yeah, so I think the receivers for sure take a hit. I think they're both talented enough, though, and Bridgewater is a decent backup quarterback, right? So Tua, it's not a huge change from Tua to Bridgewater, and I say that kind of tongue in cheek, right? But he's not a guy that's Tua was never, throwing balls down the field all over the place like Mahomes. He was throwing shorter passes. He was doing those types of things. You're not going from a guy with a huge arm or a big time scrambler to now a guy that's going to sit back there. So I think that there's going to be an adjustment, but I think those two receivers are still safe. I'd still run them out there every week.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. I mean, my only worry on that is Tua had command of the offense. Tua knew what he was doing. He knew where the reads were. He just seemed comfortable in this offense where, I mean, coming into the season, we didn't know what to expect. We thought one of them would probably pop every week, but we get in here and they're both they were both top 5, right? Receivers coming into this week.
I think so.
I don't know if that can sustain with this.
No,
I highly doubt it. It's just who's the guy going to be, and is it going to be one of those weird things where it's week to week, which would suck because if it's week to week, that's going to kill all the value. What about the running back room? Because I'm interested now. They might kind of lean more on the run with this going
on. I think Mostert obviously is better than Edmonds when it comes to the running game, but I don't think it changes too much.
No, he had 15. I mean, he had 15 attempts this game, which was significantly more.
Oh, for sure. I think that's his ceiling when it comes to rushing attempts for Mostert. But yeah, I think you should roster him, and I think he's a flex play.
Did anyone look at the splits? I didn't. I just thought of it. Like, what were his carries before Tua went out and after?
I didn't look at that. I should have.
I'd be curious to see that because I think that's gonna give us the best insight, right? If he had two carries before Tua went out and then he had 13.
Yeah, I'll do.
Obviously, that tells you something.
I'll look that up tonight, and we will talk about it tomorrow. Me, Mario, and Rob we'll look at that because it's a good question. That makes a lot of sense. That is kind of the indicator of, okay, where's this offense heading? Maybe it is going to be more kind of jam it down your throat and then play action sort of passes off of that. So we'll see where it goes. But
they're not power backs. You can't play that game with them. They're
okay. Yeah, maybe not pop. Okay, maybe
they benefit from the passing game. They're little guys.
Yeah, but they were running the ball like what? 12 times a game with Tua back there, 15 times a game. It might be more like 25 is what. And if that's the case, then these RBs, to me, I mean, especially Mostert until inevitably the guy probably gets hurt.
Until he gets hurt for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he takes a big bump up because, I mean, 15 rushes, 70 yards. It's not terrible in a game where they probably weren't anticipating using him.
He is drastically better than Edmonds carrying the ball.
Yes, and that's the thing too. Is like the eye test with him is like, okay, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Alex, Bengals look like they look pretty good for the most part. T. Higgins went off. He had a great game. Yeah. Mixon, he had a good game. I think most of it came in like the first quarter though, which is concerning for me. Mm-hmm. Still concerns with the offensive line. Not a huge fan of what's going on there with that. Jamar Chase, man, this is the third week in a row where, like, he didn't do a lot most of the game, and then a late, like, what was it, a 30-yard pass. He had a trick play catch with what was it, like a swing to the running back that threw him the ball. 2 weeks ago,
didn't he?
2 weeks ago, he did nothing until he had like a 1-yard touchdown reception. It's I mean, for me, it's concerning. The only thing that like makes me less concerned is the route participation and the amount of it. Like he's getting the targets.
I was gonna say he's still getting targets.
Yeah. It's just weird.
I think it's not the same Bengals as it was last year. Their offensive line is somehow got worse. Higgins, when healthy, like Mario's touched on this, they get a pretty equal target share, and with Higgins being better, he's going to be able to come down with that ball more often than Chase is. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think they're 12 carries after Tua left the game.
That's significant.
Yeah, I mean, it was that game script, so we'll see. Obviously, I think Mostert has a tick, but
I do. I mean, that's true. I think this will be the game we'll notice what's going on there.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Mostert, I think, still gets more carries than he normally did before.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried, man. I think this is what you're seeing is the floor, the absolute floor of Chase, and that's still high-end wide receiver too. So it's not a top 5 wide receiver right now, but I wouldn't panic yet. Just wait it out.
So you're saying hold?
Yeah.
House?
I'm
Hold, sell, buy.
I'm probably holding on to him. If I can, I mean,
Would you buy
if I can buy him, I probably would. But I
Oh,
mean, I still
sure.
think just based off what he did last year.
I mean, the thing, what are you going to give up? I mean, call it a redraft league, right? You're probably going to still have
Right.
to give up a
That's the thing. It's still going to be expensive. So
AJ Brown in a piece, maybe like something like that would
don't
make
think you
sense.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
That's where it's at, though. Like, it's still Jamar Chase, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to give up something to get him. A Waddle and something. Like, that makes
yeah, I could see a Waddle and something.
that makes me interested with this Tua injury is like, okay, maybe trying to trade Waddle and a piece for
Jamar Chase.
somebody that hasn't produced yet, that, to the extent that we've
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah.
I would have said Justin Jefferson, but he just went off, so not him.
Yeah.
But I mean, someone like Jamar Chase or that kind of role.
and I think again, remember, we talked about it early on. Chase scored a bunch of his points in 3-4 games last year. So this
Yeah.
isn't out of the norm for him to
No.
do stuff like this, where it's a couple of average to below average games, and
That's
then
fair.
he could go off for 202, and now we're right back in the conversation.
Yeah.
of-
So what would you rather have? Would you rather have? I mean, for me, right? Would you consider trading him straight up for somebody that you're way more confident producing? 15 to 25 points a week, as opposed to the 12, and then you get a 30. Like an Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Depends the rest of your roster. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's like with me having Mike Williams. Is Mike Williams? Do I have him there as my wide receiver too, where he's, his ADP might be, or where a lot of people might be taking him? No, I mean he's a flex play, and I'm comfortable with him because I have 2 better receivers ahead of him. But it's the same thing with Chase. If you have other good receivers, then
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you have him, you more than likely took him in the top 5.
yeah,
for
you
sure.
probably don't have a ton of other,
Yeah, that
unless you drafted with a bunch of idiots.
unless you drafted like an Amon-Ra St. Brown and like
Well, that's
got
what I'm saying,
lucky hitting those
Yeah.
right.
receivers.
If you got like that, then I feel you've got to hold them, because the value you're going to get for them probably isn't worth it right now.
It's fair. That's fair. Okay. So Mixon, no concerns. Are we concerned? House. Then we'll move on.
He's been inefficient, man.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to get there, just because they're going to continue to run him. They're still going to score points, but he's another one that I think is going to be a roller coaster here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with him is like he's like a Najee for me, right? He's just going to be inefficient, but there's nobody behind him. So he's going to get 25 touches a game easily, if not more, with the pass work, because he will get, 5 targets a game probably. Yeah, but he scares me, dude. So does Najee, but it's just that kind of back. But when no one's behind him, I guess it's not too concerning, It's a weird one. How's he good over there? There
Yeah,
we go.
sorry.
We're back. You're good. All
I
right,
had
let's
to
move
pause
on.
it for a second.
Let's move on to the next game. Minnesota and New Orleans. This was the early Sunday game, the London game. Kamara did not play, which he killed a lot of people. It was kind of, I don't think anyone, there were rumblings he might not play, but then, people wake up Sunday morning and lineup's locked and you're screwed.
Should have set your alarm, fellas.
Should have been
Like
more
alarm.
responsible.
Yeah.
All right. Easy peasy.
Losers.
New Orleans. Okay. Is Olave like the man? Like, is he turning into the number one there, like the alpha?
I think he is. I have notes for this, and I said, hard to take a lot away from this game for me. with no
Fair.
Jameis, no Kamara, no Thomas. He didn't play.
Right.
And I have Olave is going to be a stud if he isn't already. I think he's the guy.
He's good, dude. And the
Yeah.
crazy part is I watched a lot of that game, and I saw some, clips and stuff floating around that, dude, he was getting open at will. And if he had a quarterback that could just throw him the ball, it would have been like he would have had like 200 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He was just
He was
running
the only
past
receiver
everybody.
there. He was the only receiver there.
It's fair. Minnesota's not a
He's-
terrible defense, though.
I like Olave. I don't know what's going to happen in the QB situation. Winston's got the ceiling, but Michael Thomas is still my number one over Olave. But if either quarterback can kind of figure it out, they're pretty stacked at receiver.
Yeah, I think they're both easily flexible.
Yeah.
If not, like they're both
I
like
agree.
in your wide receiver slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, his air yards still, man, it's like amazing.
He's good, man. Olave's really good.
Yeah, I think you say Thomas is still your guy, but I think that's getting closer.
Closer
He
and
by
closer.
could, yeah.
week.
The injuries.
Week by week, that's
Yeah.
the gap's going to narrow there.
And he was making the catches when they needed to be made. Like that's what your guy. Like if you want to prove yourself in the NFL, 3rd and 6 in the 4th, and you need it. Like he got it, and he was doing it like consistently. It was good to see.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray. I mean, they activated him like day of, and then he outrushes Ingram. Like he had more carries than Ingram. It was like out of nowhere.
I think that says more about Ingram than it does about Latavius.
Yeah.
So would you rather roster Murray than Ingram? Like if you have Kamara, right? And he's one of those players that he could be, he'll play 2 games, miss 1, play 4 games, miss 1. Like, is
You're
it
not gonna
somebody
want to play
worth?
either. Let's be honest. If you have Ingram or Latavius Murray on your bench because it's your handcuff for Kamara, they're not handcuffs.
So move on.
Yeah,
Scrap it, move on.
You have to have a better option.
there's got to be a better option to where, like, if those are the guys you're choosing to put
Okay, how
as a
about deep
running back,
leagues? How about deep leagues for the people playing like 16 teamers?
Latavius Murray, but I don't like it. They're both slow. They're
Fair.
both slow backs.
Slow and old.
They're both slow and old
It's
backs.
weird that they can't.
Grabs me.
Like the crazy part is that they can't find somebody a little bit better.
Money.
Like go out on the street, like go find a Canadian Football League and like
Those
I don't
guys
know.
are actually pretty. I'll be honest with you. If you're not a good running back, but you can run a 4.4, the NFL is giving you a shot.
yeah.
Just being honest, the Canadian Football League is a bunch of running backs who run like 4.5.
Well, go trade for somebody. Why
Yeah,
not?
it
Like
costs money, man. New Orleans ain't got money to be spending. They're always in money problems.
yeah, I guess. I mean, you could trade for just top of my head. I just know because I'm a Browns fan. Dearness Johnson, dude. He's barely suiting up. He's barely getting on the field. He's got like $1 million contract. Send like a 4th or 5th.
It's got to be a better option than Murray or Ingram for sure.
It's just like, and he's young. Like he's 26, 25. It's like, I don't know. You're running out a
Not a bad
35-year-old
idea. Yeah.
Mark Ingram. Okay. I digress. Let's move on. Washington versus Dallas. Interesting. House. Let's start with Washington.
Can we circle back real quick?
We didn't
Yeah.
talk about Minnesota.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you a couple
Thank you,
questions
thank you,
about
thank you,
Minnesota.
thank you. Okay, Alex. So then that's on you. Let's go. Let's hit Minnesota really quick. Give me your thoughts on them.
I'll be
JJ
quick.
went off, and Thielen's coming back into the picture, which is good to see.
Yeah. Well, what I'll say, and this is kind of an overall picture, is I was really excited about this being game 4 of the season. Game 4 of the season is usually a pretty important. That's kind of just like a mark. Like it used to be like, oh, this is the quarter.
It's
Like
quarter pole.
you start. This is where teams kind of start figuring out their identity. This was the week, and you kind of started seeing Minnesota being like, this is our identity. You saw other teams do the same thing. You saw the Patriots know they can run the ball. I mean, even the Browns, it's like, Chubb and Hunt are going to be your guys. You're learning. And the Steelers making the change of Mitch isn't the guy. This isn't the guy for our offense. So it was exciting for me, and watching Minnesota is Jefferson's going to be that guy. Thielen's going to be a flex play, possibly a wide receiver too for the rest of the season. Like, I'm excited. Week 4 was awesome.
I think this off. I mean, I was so high on it coming into the season.
Yeah.
And this was a game to kind of not show out because Kirk didn't even have that great of a game.
Are you worried about him? I know he's been your boy.
I don't think so. Me and Mario were kind of talking about it today. We were texting back and forth. They did have a tough draw to start the season with defenses. Mm-hmm. New Orleans is a good defense. Philly is a good defense. Like, they've played some tough matchups.
He's a high-end QB too still.
Yes, and I think when the schedule eases, you're going to really see, like, what this offense can be about.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be – I mean, it'll be fun to watch, I hope, when it starts clicking. And they don't have to go up against the Philly and, some of the best corners in the league. Even though, again, JJ torched Marshawn Lattimore he was the only player so far this season, I believe, to have more than 2 catches on him, which is crazy.
Mike Evans, I think, had 3 on him.
Was it 3? Okay, maybe it was 3. I'm sorry. But regardless. Like, it's just, and I don't think, what did Evans have? Like 3 for
86.
Was it 86?
Something like that. 3 for 70, I think.
Okay.
Seems high.
Let me see.
Does to me. I could be wrong. Regardless, so like Lattimore is a premier cover corner, and JJ showed out. Like I think there was that's 60 yards. Mario said.
60. Okay.
I think JJ, like, this was a game for him to like shut people up. I think he was pissed off the last 2 weeks. He didn't really get going, and I think it was like one of those like, okay, I'm still the best wide receiver in the game. So we'll see. I hope it continues because it's a fun offense to watch. Anybody else besides Thielen, obviously Dalvin, Irv Smith. Right? Like, it's just a roller coaster. He's tough to kind of count on. But, I mean, is he, like, flexible if you need an option? Like, say your guy's on a bye coming up. Buys are starting up here soon. Like,
I would probably look at something else.
Okay.
Yeah, not as a flex, but, I mean,
it's a tight end replacement.
You might have to run him out there as a tight end replacement.
That's what I meant.
As a tight end replacement, yeah, I could do that. But flex, no way.
Yeah, my bad. Did I say I meant like a tight end by fill-in? Because that's going to start.
Yeah, bye week fill-in for sure. I think he's got to be on your radar.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think he's playable if you need to, but he showed so much promise, and it's just not coming together the way it should, which that was Mario's die on the hill until he got hurt, which is true. He is coming off an injury that cost him the whole preseason, so maybe he can get going. Anything else on this game?
Nope. Good.
Okay, Washington, Dallas. House, give me your thoughts on Washington. This was a game Dallas's front line is filthy. Like, their front seven is legit. They have the most sacks in the league. They have the most QB pressures in the league. And Wentz sucks against pressure. So this was kind of like, I didn't think he was going to have a good game. So so moving forward, the first 2 games, they lit it up. The last 2 games, not great, right? So where are we falling with this whole offense? Because it's concerning.
Yeah, I think Wentz is turning back into Carson Wentz, right? I think he was not playing like himself. Bad Philly Wentz, because he was good there for a little while. Maybe Indy Wentz is kind of the median there, but
yeah,
that defense is tough. That front, I was looking at this from the receiver perspective because I think that's the question mark on this team, right? T-Mac is, the talent's there, but he hasn't done anything. I think he's wide receiver 40 right now. I have it listed out. Samuel's wide receiver 15. Dotson's wide receiver 27. Dotson, though, I think I saw is probably going to miss a week or 2. So I'm curious to see what that does to the other 2 guys, right? I've said it before. I'm not a huge Curtis Samuel fan, but I mean, T-Mac, you got to get that guy the ball at some point, right?
I don't get it. I don't know.
Defensive scheming. The last 2 weeks, Carson Wentz has played 2 top 5 defenses in the league. You have to put that. You have to account for that. If you don't, it's not being fair. But he's gone against 2 top 5. Like, look at Dallas leading the league in sacks. Eagles have been super dominant, and they have schemed against Terry McLaurin. If they know they can get to the quarterback, as long as they eliminate the number one, the quarterback has to scramble to figure out what he's going to do with the ball.
So do you think that they can be what they were the first 2 weeks?
They play Tennessee and Chicago next, yes.
So you're plugging and playing everybody?
Yeah. Receiver-wise, if Dotson's out, then I think if you have McLaurin or Samuel, you put them both out.
Yeah, I think that's easy.
That's not really a question. When Dotson's back, it's going to be iffy. McLaurin's, money is important. McLaurin's, you're not going to waste the time and money on McLaurin unless you want him to be the guy. So they're figuring it out.
Man.
Tell that to Kenny Golladay.
Oh, dude. But Golladay.
Don't do that. Don't wish that on my boy.
Golladay, yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's true. It does happen.
T-Mac's too good.
I think the difference is Golladay actually sucks, and McLaurin he's still young. How old is Golladay? 28, 29?
I don't know. I just threw it out there.
Yeah, but I agree. It does. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but I'm not really super worried yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair to say what you just said, right? Like, okay, it was 2 top 5 defenses, great secondary, both teams, and again, Carson Wentz, just any team that can get in his face, he just doesn't play well with pressure. Like, he doesn't. If he's got time to sit in the pocket, the first 2 weeks we saw it, he can light it up. He'll throw a pick or two, but he can light it up when he's got time. But when he doesn't have time, it is bad, like very bad.
Yeah, I just worry about where that line is with him, right? So we're like, yeah, he played 2 top 5 defenses.
Exactly.
Is it top 10 defenses? Is it top 15 defenses? Like, where's that line where he can be successful for the rest of the year? Because he hasn't really.
That was the Jared Goff question. That was if Jared Goff didn't have weapons and a premier offensive line, what could he do for you? And it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to look at QB pressures when I'm looking to play Washington, offensive skill players. Yeah. That's what I'm going to look at because I really do think there's something to that with him. I just feel like we've seen it over and over again. Dallas, Alex, Cooper Rush, dude, he keeps playing well. He's making people fantasy relevant. Zeke, again, kind of like a okay day. I think he had 19 for 49, 2 receptions, 32 yards, no touchdowns, which sucks. Tony Pollard, dude, disappeared this week. I don't know. I was super high.
I have a question. So, if you have Travis Etienne, are you playing him right now?
That's no, but Pollard has shown.
But
he's had 2 great weeks.
But what I'm saying is, you put both of those. You put Travis Etienne's numbers next to Zeke and Pollard. It's a 1.5 difference. Zeke is 35, Pollard 36, Etienne 38. That's where it is. I think we're still, guys are still trying to, think like, oh, Zeke and Pollard can be fantasy relevant. I was on the same thing with you, Rob, or Pollard. I was high on Pollard. I don't really want, if I can get either of them for something decent, I'm getting rid of them.
Yeah, it was weird. Again, it was, for me, there was the growth, right? So week 1, he did nothing. Week 2, he looked better. Week 3, he looked even better than week 2. And then he puts up 1 point this week.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It was just like,
huge risk. It's a huge risk.
Yeah, now he's in the category for me. Grant, we're only 4 weeks in, right? So the first week, it could have been whatever, right? Dak got hurt. That kind of shit happens. whatever. The next 2 weeks, I was very happy with how they were using him and what they were doing with him. So I had high expectations coming into this week. And then seeing what happened, like, really took the air out of my fucking balloon. Like, it really did. It hurt. Like, I was super high on him coming into this week. I thought he was going to have a great game.
I did too.
So now, Alex, I'm in your camp, right? Now I'm in the camp of like, okay, he's going to be a roller coaster the whole season. Like, there's going to be weeks where he's going to put up points. There's going to be weeks that he doesn't. And I don't think it's really going to be defensive based. Like, I don't think you'll be able to play the matchups with him. You know, I really think it's going to be like he'll just kind of take off one game, and it could be against whoever. So he's going to be a tough play for me the rest of the year, which sucks because I really thought he was going to have a great year. CD killing it with Cooper Rush. Last 2 weeks, he's had great games.
Gallup.
Is he in? Okay, before we get to Gallup and Noah Brown, because I want to touch on him, is CD kind of cementing wide receiver 1 for you, or is he like in the 2 category? Like, are you trying to trade for him? Are you trying to sell him while his stock is high?
I would sell him. I think CD is a low end wide receiver 1, maybe high end wide receiver 2. But with Gallup healthy and Noah Brown, I think who knows how Dak is when he gets back. I think if you could sell him, for something good, like this is the time to do it.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, I'd sell him for AJ Brown.
Cortland Sutton.
No.
Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, come on, yeah.
I had to say it. Okay. I'm okay. I think I'm a little higher on CD the rest of the year than you are. Where are you at with that train?
I worry because he's looked better with Cooper Rush, right?
That's
significantly better.
Good point. Very good point. But it was week
everybody's
1.
like, "Where's CD?" Dak can't get him the ball, and like good point. It was
only 1 week,
but yeah, I mean, I like him as a player. I think he's electric when he gets the ball, man. I'm holding on to him if I have him, even when Dak comes back. I think he's going to cement himself firmly in that top 10 by the end of the year. I don't think there's going to be any issue.
There was the one drive, not this game, the previous game. There was the one drive in the second half where he just took over that game. I think we might look back on that point and be like, that's where CD like really elevated his play. He had that drop where it would have been like an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
In the first half of that game. You saw him visibly pissed off. You saw him like he was screaming at himself. He knew he messed up. And then he came back in that second half and really
flipped
showed
the switch
like
and just turned it on.
And I hope, because I have a lot of shares. I mean, I have the cowboy glasses on. I really hope that's the turning point for him because he is electric. If he can really, it came down to a lot of the time. It comes down to him like he just drops the ball or he like has a lapse in mental space. Like something happens in his head, and like I hope that's kind of the point where we're gonna look back and be like, okay, this is where he was said enough's enough. I'm the best receiver on the field, and he just takes over. We'll see. Noah Brown. Let's discuss 12 teamers. Is he rosterable, or are you not touching him because Gallup's back? Because he's looked good.
He's looked good. He was one that I thought was just going to kind of fade away after Gallup came back, but
still a good game.
I think he's cemented his spot with his performance first couple weeks. I don't know that I'm running him out there, but I don't see a problem with rostering him for sure.
Yeah, I like having him. I mean, this is just, I'll say this real quick, then Alex, give me your take on it. We don't know what's going to come back with Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the ACL, we don't know how he's going to look. We don't know if he's going to come back. 100%. I think it was wasn't it a late season ACL?
I
if I'm
think
not
so.
mistaken. It was like the last week of the year.
Was it?
I think so. So
I think it was for sure in the second half of the season.
So it was kind of a quick comeback.
Yeah.
So who knows? We've seen ACLs like really derail a player for the next season, so it could happen. ACLs are obviously a lot easier to come back than before, but I think Noah Brown is making a point. He's making it hard for them to keep him off.
It was week 17.
Week 17. Yeah,
Yep,
so
I
last
just looked
week
it
I thought it was like there. So it was quick. His comeback was quick.
Yeah.
Can he come back and be what Gallup was and expect? Because they brought him back thinking, okay, he's going to be the Batman to see, or he's going to be the Robin to Batman's CD's Batman, right?
There you go. Get it out, buddy.
There, we got it. I don't know if he can do it.
Like
I don't know.
tuna fish.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to do it. So, Alex, what do you think of Noah Brown? Are you putting him on any roster, or are you just fading?
Yeah, I'm rostering him. I'm not playing him. I mean, depending on how big your league is, if it's a 10 person league, maybe you don't roster him. But I think he's good. I don't know what it's like with Dak.
Yeah.
It's worth rostering him in a deeper league, but yeah, we'll
I have
see.
him in a 16, and I'm playing him, and I'm
Yeah,
fine. With it.
16 league. Yeah, 16 league team league. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Super deep. Like, obviously, it's not a terrible idea.
12, I'm on the bandwagon of having him. Like I have Dortch in my one league. I'll probably drop Dortch and pick him up this week.
Yeah,
that's kind of why
you're gonna hurt Mario's feelings.
Yeah, it
He loves Dortch.
I mean, Marquise Brown is really putting on now. So
yeah,
I think we're gonna get to that. We'll get there tomorrow, so we can hear Mario bitch about it. Anything else on this game, guys, that you want to touch on?
Nope.
No. Dallas's defense is legit too, so that's one thing to note. Chicago Giants. House. Talk to me about the Bears. Talk me off a cliff, because I had some Bear love.
I know you had some Justin Fields love.
Yeah.
I like Mooney. I think Mooney's talented, but I think that offense is just bad enough, even though Mooney had, decent numbers. He's we were talking about that before everybody got on here, Mario.
Yeah, we already did.
We were talking about it.
Yeah, so, Mooney inconsistent right now, but it's solely based on that offense. I think Khalil Herbert's taking Montgomery's job, and he's a guy that I will play.
Spicy take. Okay.
When he's in, he's produced, right?
Yeah.
And
so is Monty.
Not to the extent that Herbert has, though. At least from what I've seen, I think there's, to compare to what we just talked about, Mario talked about at the beginning of the year watching a bunch of Dallas games, and Pollard jumped off the screen as opposed to Zeke. And I think it's the same thing. I think that that Herbert is, frankly, a better player than Montgomery is right now.
If Mooney's available in your league, which he very well could be, are you picking him up after this week?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think he had a good game. One thing I'll say on Justin Fields, which is whatever it's worth, I think this is not good for him moving forward for this season. He has, I think, the shortest amount of time to throw the ball and the least open receivers in the league. So it's a combo. That combo together is what you're seeing. Dude. It's just not good.
They're bad.
A lot of people threw that in my face preseason, was like how bad the offensive line is. And I kind of poo-pooed it. And it's a thing. It's a thing. And that's probably why they're throwing the ball 18 times a game. And so not good for that team moving forward for the whole season. Alex, the 3-1 Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it's
ridiculous.
Right. It's the ugliest wins. It's
crazy, dude.
They're getting their ugly, crappy wins against crap teams out early. I want just a quick touch. Herbert is averaging 6.1 yards per carry. Monty's averaging 4.5. So those are the only two guys who are actually producing.
Yeah, but
we don't have to go too deep.
Offense.
Yeah, but those are only two good players on the team.
Yeah.
Giants, Barkley's. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes as RB1 this year.
Yep.
Daniel Jones, if he's healthy, he's fantasy relevant as a QB2, 100%, or in a super flex.
Just with his legs, right?
His legs make him valuable.
Yeah.
We'll see. He's injured, but Danny Dimes, and he runs like so awkward and sloppy. He runs like a drunk girl. I'm surprised. Like it's just his ankle. I'm like, how do you have knees? Like your legs are just all over the place. But yeah, they're 3-1. Giants D is still looking like they have a ton. And that's what their bright spot was supposed to be, was their defense, and it's looking like it.
And Dayball's really getting probably the best out of this offense that he can, honestly. They had no receivers.
No receivers.
So like Mario brought it up last week, Daniel Bellinger is an interesting like tight end to pick up. Because who else is going to get targets? And he is a receiving tight end. He had the most targets this week. I could be wrong on that, but
him and James each had 3.
But I think it was kind of a
what a stink fest.
I just think it was one of those games where it was okay. They're not going to score on us. We have the best running back in the league. Give him the ball every time. Let's get down there, kick a field goal, and we'll be fine. One of those kind of games, and just run the clock out. He had 2 in the first 6 minutes. Interesting.
It's Saquon and everybody else. Let's call it what it is.
DJ,
right?
Saquon.
Yeah, I agree. Saquon, everybody else. DJ is playable in a 2 QB league. I think that's good to note. No receivers. I wouldn't touch any of them. So we'll keep on moving. Keep on chugging. Buffalo, Baltimore. The weather was not great. So, again, it was one of those, like, it was kind of tough to take away too much, especially in the pass game. House, what do you think of Buffalo? And talk to me. I think Gabe Davis is someone to talk about. And I think so is Devin Singletary.
Yeah. So with Davis, there was a lot of talk about him in the preseason, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's
week 1.
Yeah, if he's still feeling the effects of the ankle injury, which is why he's not producing. But I mean, he's still tons of route participation. He was like 96, 97 route participation before this week. I didn't see what it was, on Sunday, but he's one that I think a lot of people were high on and they've been let down on early in the year. But that offense, I mean, the receivers are going to be relevant just because of the type of offense that they have, right? Because Josh Allen's going to make them. So I don't know that I'm panicking, but I also don't know that I'm trying to trade for him right now.
You're trying to trade? No.
I don't think that I am. Because I think he'll be reasonable wide receiver option, but I was not as high on him going into the year as a lot of other people were.
That helps McKenzie. Crowder's on the IR,
Sure
so McKenzie takes a bump up.
Yeah.
I think McKenzie's, you have to have him rostered. He's an interesting flex week to week.
Yeah. And then the other one was Singletary, right? He's had a couple of good days in the passing game. Yeah. But if you look at his utilization, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And it's just those running back situations, man. You're getting a lot of guys who were great one week, nothing the next week. Great the next week, nothing the next week. And you've got a handful of those. And
I think the interesting thing is for him, the first 2 weeks not great. Yeah. The last 2 weeks, good weeks, very involved in the pass game. And then you couple that with his last month and a half of last season where he was top 3 RBs, if not 1. He might have been RB1 over that span. I don't know, man. It's like he's making a case to be playable week to week. He really, it's just my opinion. I think he really is as like a RB2. It would scare the hell out of me.
That's the thing. It's inconsistent enough that I would not feel confident. I'd run him out there and be like, all right, I have a chance. But
I'm just saying, 8 of the last 10 weeks, he's put up good games. So
Fair.
that's where I'm looking at it. Is even, I mean, it's hard to bring up last season because like it's hard to do that.
Right.
But it is like it's something to keep in the back of your mind because knowing that he did that the last half of the season, it makes you more comfortable playing him. But I'd still be very scared plugging him in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex, Baltimore, J.K. Dobbins, very nice day. 2 touchdowns involved in the pass game and 13 attempts, which was good to see. Again, it was a very rainy, windy game, so it was tough to kind of get too much out of it because they obviously weren't pushing the ball downfield as they shouldn't. I mean, same with Buffalo, which is maybe why Gabe Davis didn't really have a great game. What are your thoughts on this team? Are you plugging JK in the rest of the year?
I think as maybe a flex. I think this is a lot of game script. Baltimore's offense looks really good when Lamar's throwing the ball. You know, they can put up points real quick. I think Dobbins is a flex. He's something, you know, to watch on. He's still not super efficient. Like, he got touchdowns. He was fantasy relevant. It's not like he had a phenomenal game. To me, if you look at his numbers and if you told me that was Devin Singletary, I've been like, okay, yeah. You know, like is he back? I'm not saying he's back. You know, I think he's a flex play at best. Andrew and Lamar are still the guys that you start confidently.
Duvernay,
you keep. I mean, I'm not like
producing.
Yeah, I've used him 1 week. I have him in at least 2 leagues, 2 or maybe 3 leagues. I've started him 1 week because of injuries, and he got me, I think, 11 points. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Obviously, I like Duvernay. Duvernay is just offers more than what Bateman does. So when they do change game script or if they need to change something up, if Duvernay, I think, adapts better than Bateman is. I think Bateman has higher potential as a true wide receiver, but Duvernay can run the ball and he can take hits. So what
are you doing with Bateman?
You're holding on to him because right now if you sell him, you're not going to get much.
But you're not playing him, right?
He's a flex.
Flexible.
Depending on your league, he's a
scary
flex.
to me, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a flex depending on your team. If you've got
hurt his foot too this week, didn't he?
He's always hurt. I feel like I could be. I mean, again, this is his second season in the league, so it's hard.
Your first round pick. I mean, the second season in the league thing is kind of.
I agree. I agree. He's a tough one for me, man. He's another one that everyone was super high on coming into the year and like not producing. It's honestly Mark Andrews and like that's it, and Lamar. But
tough day for Andrews though.
Yeah, I chalk it up to weather.
100%.
But Andrews is still gonna finish top 2, if not 1. All right, let's move on to Cleveland, Atlanta. Don't want to talk too much about this game. House, rundown on Cleveland. Don't kill me. I know you're Pittsburgh.
Chubb's still a monster. Brissett was right?
Yeah, he was,
we talked last week about how he looked so much better, and he looked,
this was bound to happen, right?
Competent, and he looked like his starting quarterback. And this is him coming back. I think from this game, you take away Chubb, Hunt. Obviously, you're running out there. Njoku's tight end 10 after 4 weeks, 5+ targets in 3 out of the 4 games, trending upward.
Trending up.
Did something happen to Amari Cooper because he was irrelevant? I didn't see it, but
no, nothing happened. I think they made a point to
shut him down.
They schemed him, and what I'll say too is their corner. I don't know his name. Their number 1 corner. He's legit. I've looked at a lot of metrics on like their defense because their defense is so bad. Yeah. But they play the wide receiver 1 pretty well.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy. I mean, you're not dropping
No,
Amari. You're not
You're still starting him.
doing anything.
I think he's. I think. I
crazy
mean,
like that,
again, I'm a
but-
Browns fan. Everyone knows this,
He's
so like I
playable.
could be wrong.
every week.
I think he's like a very. I would try to trade for him this week because you might get somebody kind of with a quick trigger finger on him just because of what happened this week. Just my opinion, but Alex, Atlanta. Patterson's on the IR.
4
Are
games at
you
least.
are you picking anyone up and playing them, or are you not touching the backfield? And then Drake London, rough game. I still think he's a good flex play no matter what. I think he's a good player. And then Pitts, I'm gonna have to take it. I'll take this one on the chin because I thought he was gonna be like tight end 1 this year.
Can we get him the ball? Like
It's not him too. That's the shitty part is it's not him. It's just like he's not even running routes at this point. Like I don't know what they're doing.
wild.
Yeah. That team's they're figuring themselves out, with the coach. Pitts was the focus of the offense last year. They have a new quarterback. I think they're still just trying to figure out this team, figuring out their offensive line and what to do. I think if you can get I'm sure I'll mispronounce his name, Algier. He didn't look bad when he had like 10 carries for like 84 yards.
He looks good.
And if you're a guy like me who drafted him in at least two leagues, especially in Dynasty, because Patterson has had 1 or 2 maybe relevant seasons, but 1 good season. So you know that's not going to last, and he's 30 years old. So if you can get Algier, you do, because the way he's looked and what they're doing with the offense when he comes back, I don't think Patterson's going to get the touches he gets anyways. But London, when it comes to London and Pitts, yeah, it's worrisome. If you can get Pitts low, do it.
I agree. But
same with London. It's not like Mariota's looking like the worst QB in the league, but the offense is just not looking great.
I don't know if you can get London. cheap.
No.
I think
it's
this was, it's a week, throw it away. It happens.
Yeah. He's super talented.
It's very good. He's very good.
Pitts hasn't been getting really the targets the entire season, which is
that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude. That's the crazy part.
We'll change it. It'll change.
He had one half where he went for like 6 for 85. And then I think that one half is more than he has the entire season.
Yeah.
Besides that half, like it's just, I don't know. And like the metrics coming out aren't looking great just with how they're using them and route participation and like all that stuff. So I'm worried. I hope they like move things around and try to get him more involved, but you can't play him until they do it. Like they figure it out. Like how can you run him out there and get 3 points a week?
Too risky.
Yeah.
Mo Alley Cox had more points yesterday than Pitts has.
The Mo Alley Cox.
He had more points than a ton of tight ends. So I'm not.
Yeah, but not a guy that we all thought was going to be top 3 at worst.
Yeah, dude.
Remember
this
the
one
Mario
hurts for me.
Mo Alley Cox hype.
Yeah, there you go, Mario. There's your Mo Alley game. Let's keep it moving to Jacksonville, Philly. Dude, Jacksonville's good, right? Like they're not bad. They battled with Philly. Philly's clearly probably the best team in the league right now. Is it just time to fade people playing Philly, or is it time to fade the people playing Philly? House?
It might be. I don't know who
there.
they have next week, but I think it's unless it's one of the top end guys, right? Like,
yeah,
are you going to fade
CMC or
Mahomes or JJ or somebody like that? Probably not, but those
Michael Pittman.
Those.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, are you fading Michael Pittman against the Philly defense? Are you fading a? I mean, dude, Christian Kirk was wide receiver 6 coming into this game. He had like two catches.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly's 2 catches on 9 targets.
Yeah, you got Philly's.
That's what I'm saying. He had the targets.
Yeah,
Like he
they're
had the
legit.
opportunity. It's just like their defense is that good where like you can get the targets, you can get 10 targets. Are you going to have, I mean, are you even going to put up 5 points with that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think with what Kirk does, I think it just depends on what receiver, what your player is. I mean, but yeah, you have to definitely put it into account.
Something you have to consider. You have to
For
consider
sure.
matchups.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
They're a Super Bowl team, man. The Eagles are
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, especially with how Hurts is playing. Not as great as not his best day, but still
Isn't.
good.
Miles Sanders, baby.
J-Rob?
Yeah.
We concerned?
No.
It's Philly.
Yeah, it's
It's
Philly.
Okay. I don't think we need to talk too much about Jacksonville just because it was Philly.
Yeah.
Alex, talk to me about Philly.
I mean, they're really good. For me, and I'm okay with losing money to the bet with Hurts. I'm not. I still don't think that outside of fantasy is a top 5 QB, and
He looks like it.
Yesterday he had some ugly throws. This team is so loaded, and I was thinking if he's competent, if he doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and he doesn't get injured, I said this before the season started that they are built for the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl team, and I said that before it started, and it was going to come down to as long as Hurts doesn't lose them in the games, they're going to do very well. Well, Hurts is doing very well. He's not just not losing the game; he's playing out of his mind. Playing against Philly, you have to look at the matchups, whether it's worth doing it. Smith is someone where you don't know if what week it's going to start, to start him, but they're super talented. AJ Brown's going to have a fantastic year. Miles Sanders, I think even though it was rainy, it wasn't, ideal weather. You did get to see like, oh shit, they can run the ball too without just Hurts running the ball, to where if something's not working, they still have pieces.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be as efficient as he's been the first quarter of the year?
Who, Sanders?
Yeah.
Sanders
he's been
has
good.
never been questioned as whether he's been an inefficient player. It's whether he's been healthy.
Okay.
Every game, whenever he plays, he's been efficient. Every game.
So he's playing, you're plugging him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like your low end, he's an RB2. That's his floor right now, is an RB2. So you have to play him.
Devontae Smith, is he a player that's going to be hot one week, cold the next?
Yes.
Okay. So he's a tough play.
Yes.
We've seen it. He can light it up. He can
super talented.
He can finish as the wide receiver one that week. But then the next week he might be, get you 5 points.
Hurts is still the QB, and going forward, I don't think passing wise he looks as great as he has the first 3 or 4 games. I still think he's good, and I still think he's a top 5 fantasy QB for the rest of the year. I'm just saying teams do start figuring certain things out, and with them, they're going to try to force him to run the ball more.
Alex is going to say that every week that you give him the opportunity to talk about the Eagles.
Yes.
He's going to talk about how Hurts
keep
is
coming
good at
back.
fantasy football, but not in real life.
You'll be the resident Philly speaker because I want to keep hearing you.
They're a Super
he's not
Bowl
that
team.
good when he's putting up 300 yards a game.
I didn't say he wasn't that good. I just said I don't think he does as well passing the ball going forward.
All right. We'll see. Chargers, Houston. Herbert looked great. Eckler had finally found the end zone and was RB1 this week. Mike Will went off. It was a great game for every Charger player that you probably played. House, where are you at with this squad? Talk to me about Everett, and because he's playing very well, but when Keenan Allen comes back, are you still playing him?
That's the question. I had that conversation yesterday with somebody. We were watching some games, and we were talking about Everett. And we were saying, what about when Allen comes back? And I think he's going to lose targets. There's no question. Because Keenan Allen just eats up a ton of them. The question is, can Keenan Allen come back and stay healthy consistently? Because it seems like lately he hasn't. So I think you run him out there as long as you can. I think when Allen comes back, you still run him out there until there's proof that they're not going to get him the ball. But I mean, he's 5 for 61 with a touchdown yesterday.
Yeah,
Run
he
him
keeps
out there.
producing.
Herbert's gonna sling it, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you play him until he proves that he's not
Until
playable.
they give you a reason not to.
Yeah. Alex and House. I'll take this one for Houston. Pierce is the guy. If I was standing up, I'd be doing that, Ric Flair dance walk. Do you see it continuing? He had some. The main concern with him was the pass work. Finally had some pass work.
So
6
did Burkhead.
receptions. He didn't do anything with them. I don't care. That's 6 points. And then Cooks. That's it. But do you think that the Pierce phenomena is here? Because he's the guy. I mean, he's going to be.
He's the starter.
Yeah, is he gonna be RB1? I mean,
No.
right? No.
Okay. Out of the 131 yards, wasn't one of them a 75-yard?
50,
So what?
It was 75.
Yeah.
He had 14 carries and 131 yards.
Yeah, I get it. And
Like, even if you take
one of those
that
were
one carry away,
it would have been 13 for 40?
no. He had what? 70-yarder?
75-yarder.
Where's my calculator?
56.
Yeah, so 13 for 56.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is temper the
Not bad.
expectation. He is a flex running back. He is not an
Still
RB1.
4 yards per carry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
closer
But-
to 5.
he's
He's
not
an
an
RB2.
RB1. On his best days, he's going to be an RB2. Game script.
Who's this RB1?
The Chargers were very injured. They were not the defense that everybody thought they were going to be.
Okay.
Pierce is a flex RB.
He had a nice week last week, too. That's all I'm going to say.
Playing
He's
his
a flex
violin.
RB.
They're figuring out how good the kid is.
Where do you put him as? I think he's
I think he's an RB2.
I think he's a low end RB2.
But you're plug and play every week.
Yes,
I
he's
think
a flex.
so.
Yeah, you play him. I'm
Yep.
just saying, don't expect him to be an RB1. They are going to be behind on a lot of games. Burkhead got a lot of passing work. Nico Collins has been getting almost the same amount of targets as Cooks. The offense they're going to be passing the ball a lot more going forward.
I'm trading the house for him. Get me Pierce. But yeah, it's Pierce and it is Cooks, and that's about it.
Yep.
Quickly, let's get to Jets Pittsburgh. House. This is your squad. Pickett's finally here. Give me a rundown of this team. What I will say, I'll throw this little nugget out there that I saw today on Pittsburgh. When Pickett came in, Pickens received 31% of the target share, and Deontay was 15 or so. Is that a trend you see happening? And what do you because it seems like Pickett's going to be the guy. So what do you kind of see this offense turning into with that?
Yeah, I think Pickett. First of all, let's all calm down about the 3 picks. I was explaining this to Rob before we got on. 2 balls off receivers' hands. Claypool, because he doesn't know how to raise his hands above his shoulders, and he's bad. And Freiermuth had one. He went up 4, hit his hands. 2 tipped balls and a Hail Mary. They weren't terrible throws. Maybe the Claypool one was a questionable decision because there were 2 guys down there, but I saw no issue with any of those throws. I think this is going to open up the offense a little bit. Offensive line still sucks, but I think he's going to take chances more than Mitch did. I'm happy to see him in there. I said all along it was going to take 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how they were doing. And if they were any less than 2-2, it was time to go. They're 1-3, so let's do it. I do think that Pickens is going to be looked at more than he was when Mitch was in there. So
Yeah,
I think Pickens is a guy that's going to start trending upward. So if you don't have him, I think you should probably go get him, even though the offense might not be that great, especially in your dynasty leagues. They do have a tough schedule coming up. That was one of the things that people in Pittsburgh were worried about, was running him out there for his first start in Buffalo. But you got to play sometime, right? So
are you concerned about Deontay? Target share wise, like that kind of stuff.
I've been concerned about Deontay all year because of the offense, but
he was still getting a good target share.
I do think his target share will come down a bit.
That's not good.
Which
Because
exactly
he's been questionable to play even, right?
Yeah.
So now is he like, okay, I'm not playing him?
I think you're still relying on him because of
Capital.
where you drafted him, and I'm thinking of where you would have gotten him compared to how you would have constructed your roster. Unless you hit big with some receivers later, you're relying on him going out there every single week. So I still think he's going to get his fair share. I don't think it's going to be a significant decrease, but there's going to be a little bit.
So from 10 to like 8.
Maybe something like that, which over the course of the season, right, takes you from let's say, what did he have last year? He had a ton last
165.
year. Yeah, it takes you from, I was going to say like 150 to 120 over the course of a season.
It's a big drop, especially when you're not like, you don't rack the yards up and you don't rack up the touchdowns. It's tough. Najee.
Still going to run him out there.
Buy
He's
low.
inefficient.
Buy low. There's going to be enough people are going to be freaking out about what he's done so far and what the schedule looks like going ahead. I'm going to trust the house with Pickett, and it's going to open up the offense. Whether that includes a lot of turnovers, it won't matter. It's going to help Najee Harris.
Do you think this helps Najee Harris' house?
100%.
I do. I think they can use him. I think if I know anything about Matt Canada and the things that he did before when he was at Pitt, he can do a lot of things. And I'm hoping that he opens the playbook a little bit, even though it's a rookie. I get it. They're going to be safe with him. I'm hoping that they let him take some chances and make some plays himself. I think he's a better runner than Mitch is, which I think opens up, Deontay for a little bit. I think it opens up Freiermuth a little bit, and even check downs to Najee when plays break down. So I'm still running Najee, Deontay, Freiermuth, I think. I
was with you.
Najee in the first round.
Tiffany, I was with you. I took Najee in a couple first rounds.
I
told you guys I traded him in my one league. The offensive line just scares me. So you're not going to get top 10 back numbers just because of the offensive line.
But you're also not getting that right now from a lot of running backs.
Fair. We've been talking about that.
We've talked about it for 4 weeks.
I
about
agree.
How crazy it's been.
I think we'll start seeing it trend to those backs like Lenny. CMC had a nice week.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, even though Nick Chubb wasn't drafted as an RB1, he's still that kind of guy.
Buy Harris low.
And
Deontay got robbed of a touchdown.
I think the crazy play, James Robinson, he's going to start fading. I think those kind of CEH, I have no idea. The dude gets 3 touches a game. He turns 2 of them into touchdowns.
He's going to be the James Conner where every week you're saying, I don't think I should put him in the RB2.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then he's going to finish RB2 in the season. You're going to be like, how?
They clearly have a plan with him in the red zone, and it's working.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, real quick.
I'm going to fly through it.
Fly through the Jets. Give me your opinion on what's going on there. Breece Hall, Carter, Corey Davis had 7 targets.
Hall's the guy. Corey Davis is going to have up and down games, but I think you roster him.
Playing him, flexing him?
Deeper leagues, he's a flex. Is Zach Wilson rosterable in a redraft? No. In a dynasty, yes. I still think he's not going to be that good. Elijah Moore, do you worry about him? I think you worry about every receiver on that team because you don't know long-term who's Wilson's guy going to be. The only thing you do know is when Zach Wilson was healthy last year, Corey Davis was the guy getting target share. So if you're going to want to start somebody, it's probably going to be Corey Davis over Wilson or Elijah Moore. That's pretty much it on that.
That's wild to think about.
He spread it around yesterday. He had 4 guys with 5 targets.
He did. I mean, for what it's worth, dude, Elijah had probably the best day of the season. Yeah, I agree. Pittsburgh's defense, not that great, House, without TJ Watt.
Great with TJ Watt, not that great without him.
Okay, so a little easier defense this week for Zach Wilson. We'll see, man. I still, week 1 in the Jets, with Zach Wilson, so we'll see how this kind of plays out. But I agree with everything you said. Corey Davis, I think he's flexible moving forward. Elijah Moore, man, a lot of people have to play him probably in their flex at least. It's
gonna be a
tough.
rough year for him, man.
It's
gonna
tough.
suck.
Freiermuth, real quick. Freiermuth playable for the rest of the year. I think we've been saying that past couple weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
Titans Colts. Let's run through this one really quick. Tennessee House.
Derrick Henry, nobody else.
Yep.
Henry's back though, right? He's RB1.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we'll see those guys get to that where they were supposed to be.
Robert Woods is a flex in deep leagues.
I agree.
Derrick Henry, nobody else.
All right. Okay.
That Tannehill sucks.
He does suck.
Alex. Yeah, he does. Alex, talk to me about Indy. Mo Alley Cox, he had a great game. I don't think you're playing him. I don't even think he's rosterable.
Nope.
Pierce had a good day, 4 for 80. Pittman, 331 and 6 targets. Are you scared of him? And JT, dude, what are we doing with him?
Pittman, I don't think he ends up finishing where I thought, which was a top 10 receiver, but I think he finishes as a wide receiver too still. JT, yes, you should be worried.
I agree. Something's up.
Plain and simple.
First off, I think he played out of his mind last year, and I just think everything kind of came to a perfect kind of
very good O-line.
Yeah, I just think everything worked well last year.
Yes. And Carson Wentz is probably a better quarterback than Matt Ryan.
So, okay, let me ask you this. I think we all kind of are to the point where JT, obviously, you took him as the number one pick, more than likely, or number 2. That sucks. You're not going to get that value back. You can't trade him probably because you're going to get not a lot for him.
Nope.
Are you? Is this going to be the kind of like game that you see happening? Like, are you like a 50-yard? Like, are you going to get 50-yard games moving forward, or are you going to? Is it going to trend upwards of like the 80 to 100?
I think 70% of the games going forward are going to be closer to that 50 yards,
which is crazy. Crazy, dude. People were picking Indy to win like the Super Bowl.
I don't know who those people were, but they probably weren't very bright.
Yeah. The whole offense looks like a mess.
I didn't hear anybody saying that, but okay. That's
super weird. It's not good, dude. I'm with you. I think JT is like, there's going to be a point coming up soon where we're going to be like, okay, are we starting JT?
Yes, you are.
Because that's where it's like getting there. Okay, last game, Detroit, Seattle. House, talk to me about Seattle.
Is Geno better than Russ?
That's a question. I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think so, but it sure looks like it. Are you playing Geno? Are you playing Geno?
2 touchdowns, dude.
QB1 in your league? Can you start him?
If you had think of this, right? One league I had Trey Lance, and then I picked up Tua.
Yeah.
So I'm to the point where I'm thinking about Geno. I'm thinking about
2 QB leagues. I mean, he's playing Geno.
He's QB 10 through 4 weeks.
Yeah,
you got to consider it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. 2 QB leagues, you're for sure starting him. Is he better than Russell Wilson? No. Russell Wilson with the full season with the same team looked like an MVP, and Lockett and Metcalf both had top 15 seasons. So, Geno has been playing really good, and I'm happy to see it. I'll just say that. I want to see them do well just despite Russell Wilson.
That's fair.
Lockett, I think Lockett's a play every week. He's had 3
Him and
great
Metcalf
games
both are. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
Metcalf and Lockett going forward are both playable. Nobody thought it would happen again.
Yeah.
You do it.
I think Lockett's more of the consistent guy, which is crazy for me to say. And DK, I think, can be one of those players. Yeah, he'll get you 150 yards a week, 1 week, and then next week he might put up like 30. So I think you have to play him though.
What do you think about Penny? I mean, he's been relatively underwhelming, but he was awesome at the end of last year.
Man, did he go off?
Kind of like our Singletary conversation, right? Went off at the end of last year.
He's good.
Has been underwhelming so far, but balled out yesterday. It is Detroit.
It's Detroit.
He needs the
bottom. I like Penny. Obviously, we have leagues together, and I have him in leagues. I like him. I don't love Seattle's run blocking. It is looking a little bit better.
A little better.
But Detroit's defense is terrible. If you put even a defense that was a little bit better Detroit's probably got one loss.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're terrible.
Last question, then we'll move to the Lions. Will Dissly.
No.
He's had a touchdown in 3 of the 4 games. He's not going to get a ton of catches. He's going to get like 4 or 5 catches a game, maybe 40 yards, but the dude finds the end zone. Are we not? We're just whatever. No, I think he's tight end 10 right now.
Is he scoring, 12 touchdowns this year?
No, it's not.
I don't know, dude.
No offense, though. Don't want him. Don't want either of them.
Okay. I'm just saying it's an interesting tight end to keep an eye on because the tight end market has been atrocious.
It's hard to run guys that are tight end dependent out there, though.
Yeah.
Like for me, we talked about Irv Smith earlier. I'd much rather play Will Dissly. I would much rather play Will Dissly.
Maybe.
Fair.
Yep. Okay. Alex, last team we'll talk about are the Detroit Lions. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Whole team hurt. They still put up 45 points.
It's
Jared
weird.
Goff, is he like the next coming to Tom Brady?
It's weird. It's almost like I said Goff with weapons and a good O-line is a top 10 QB. Oh, man. He's a freak.
I was with you, dude.
Yeah, he's a freak. You play him, 2 QB league. You're loving having him as your second QB right now.
Wait till he gets Jameson Williams back.
I'm not even worried about that because that's an injury and a what if. That's too hypothetical. But right now, like I said, this team is a good team if they had a competent defense, which they don't.
Yeah.
Hawk obviously takes a hit with the guys coming back, but going forward, you start him still. You still start your Hawk every single week. Right? Okay, I was like, you froze for a second, Rob.
My bad.
And then Jamal, even with Swift coming back, you might have to start him.
Jamal?
I think you can still flex him when Swift comes back.
I think he's flex. Yeah.
He is a flex. Right now, he's what, like RB6, RB5?
Yeah, it's hard to keep him off your lineup. Easily playable. So, okay, until Amon-Ra comes back, which I don't know if there's any news on it, he might play this week. I think it was a high ankle sprain.
Yeah. Wouldn't expect
Are you playing Reynolds?
Yes.
If he's not playing, are you playing him?
Yeah, 100%. Goff has a great rapport with him. You play him.
Yeah,
Got to.
I think you're right. Like Goff he'll find the receiver, man, and the offensive scheme seems to be working. So.
Yeah. They're fun to watch, man. Oh, it's great seeing them.
Me and you, Alex, we were on it. Detroit bandwagon. All right, boys. We had a good one. We got through a ton of games. We got you guys a lot of good info, I think. We'll be back tomorrow with Rob Norton, me, Mario, and we'll go over the waiver pickups and all that sort of stuff and the rest of the games that we didn't get to today. Check us out on our Twitter, DadBodFS, on our YouTube, DadBod Fantasy Squad, Twitch, DadBod Fantasy Squad. We are on Spotify, Apple iTunes, all the major streaming platforms. Go check out the Monday Night Game because, again, we have all the skin in the game, so root for us. We need the W's because, we're fantasy experts, and if we're not winning, what are we doing? I'm Rob, my dude, House over there, Alex down there. Have fun, people. Peace.
Later, y'all.